Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Nihongo Master podcast. It's your host Azra. Now, I bet you've read the title. You read it right. We're going to break down the dating culture in Japan. Just like the rest of the Japanese culture, dating in Japan isn't exactly the same as the rest of the world. If you've watched your fair share of anime and J-dramas, you'd realize that already. So, as the Valentine's Day special, since it's just around the corner, we're going to walk you through the Japanese dating culture in 3 phases. The dating phase, the commitment phase, and the getting physical phase. Take this as practice before going on that first date with a Japanese gal or guy. And if you're already dating one, you can incorporate some of these tips into your own relationship. It wouldn't hurt to spice it up a bit, or even just to impress your partner even more. If you haven't tuned in yet, check out our last year's Valentine's Day special, Season 3, Episode 10, where we talked about various romantic holidays in Japan. The first phase we're looking at is the dating phase. Just like other cultures, the Japanese also go on dates with their romantic interests. That goes without saying, I'd say. If you have to define dating, it's similar to how we describe it in English. It's when two people go out and do activities together, like getting a nice dinner, or go to an amusement park, or watch a movie. It's similar to going out with your friends, but a date is when it involves romance or the possibility of romance. In Japanese dating culture, you go on roughly 3 to 5 dates casually in the span of 1 to 3 months before any commitment. And usually the men ask the women. Pretty similar everywhere else, right? But hey, similarly, it's not weird if a woman asks too. But the thing is, they won't ask straight up, hey, wanna go on a date? It's more like a roundabout way of asking one out, like, そのうち食事でも行きましょうか? Wanna have dinner sometime? Or, 興味があったら映画を見に行きましょう? If you're interested, let's go watch a movie. Now this leaves a lot of room for confusion. If a guy asks you this, is it a date or is it not? There's no clarification and you shouldn't ask. You quite literally have to wait and find out. There are a few signs to know though. If he makes a reservation at a fancy restaurant, it's a date. Or if he pays, it's a date. Up until then, it's a mystery. If he's not holding your hand or putting his arm around you, don't read this as him not being interested in you. It could go both ways, but in Japanese culture, they don't have much physical contact during this stage of dating. No kissing, no holding hands, no hugging, not even sending the girl home to her doorstep. Now with all these cues, it can be a bit tricky to suss out whether or not he's interested in you romantically. But hold on, we'll get into that in the next part. For now, here's a quick vocab recap. そのうち soon or sometime. 食事 meal. 興味 interest. 映画 movie. 見に行く to go and watch or see. Now the next phase in Japanese dating culture is the commitment phase, meaning the two people who were casually going on dates get into a relationship. To get to this phase, someone has to confess their love. And this brings me to the kokohaku culture. The word kokohaku translates to love confession. This is when someone confesses their love for another, and if they reciprocate those feelings, the two start a relationship together. Mostly, men confess, but a lot of women take Valentine's Day as an opportunity to confess their love, since it's kind of the opposite of the rest of the world where men do the romantic gestures. In Japan, this romantic holiday is when girls have the window to ask the hot guy out. So don't be surprised if a lot of your friends' relationship anniversary is on the 14th of February. Now here's where it gets even more different from what we're used to. The concept of a committed relationship in Japan is different from Western culture. When you're together with someone, or in Japanese, tsukiyao, it does mean you're in a monogamous relationship. That's no different. Holding hands, hugging, kissing, all of that is still the same too. What's different is that, in Japanese dating culture, being boyfriend and girlfriend is not a big deal in comparison. It doesn't mean they're in love. Sometimes it can be, but it doesn't have to be. They can simply have hope that they can make a good relationship together and potentially grow feelings from that. Now, when in a relationship, Japanese people don't meet often. Heck, not all of them contact each other every day. According to a Japanese advertising agency, My Navy, 52% of men and 53.7% of women said they contact their partners every day. 18.4% of men and 13.5% of women said 2 to 3 times a week is enough. Now, this is because of the shigoto, work culture in Japan. The Japanese are very career focused, even the women nowadays. Work comes first, and they're often busy during the week. And on their off days, they respect privacy and personal space. Sometimes your partner just wants to rest over the weekend, and they're not obliged to report their whereabouts to you. That's just how it is. Speaking of privacy, this extends to even knowing each other's phone passcodes. I heard that some married couples don't even know how much their partners are making before tying the knot. Anyway, let's quickly recap, shall we? Kokuhaku, love confession. Tsukiau, going out or being together. Shigoto, work. By the way, if you haven't checked out our official website yet, why not give it a browse? At Nihongo Master, we offer efficient Japanese lessons that are quick, easy, and fun for Japanese language learners of all levels, from beginners to advanced. Our smart tools will assist you in areas where you need a little bit of a push and congratulate you on the ones you've aced. With a community of over 50,000 Japanese students, you're not alone on your learning journey. Make new friends and improve together with our point system, collecting points as you go along. Ask away any questions you have on our group discussion pages. There's sure to be others as well as our Japanese instructors that are quick to answer. You can also take Nihongo Master with you on the go and learn Japanese as you trot the globe. Practical, right? Now, the third phase is getting physical. As I mentioned briefly in the second phase, once you've committed to a relationship, it's a-okay to hold hands, kiss, and hug in Japanese dating culture. In fact, most Japanese couples only kiss for the first time after getting into the relationship. It's not like you can't get physical before getting in a relationship. I bet it's pretty futsu, normal nowadays too. But it's not considered a good thing conventionally in Japan, and it can lead to a few false assumptions. Like, some guys might just consider it as a hookup and won't want anything serious with the girl anymore. Or some girls might think that guys who make moves before getting into a relationship as womanizers, or just want a one-night stand. Generally, women won't accept physical advances while still getting to know each other. And if the guy doesn't do it, should feel respected and will have a good impression of the guy. Even when you're in a relationship, it's also not common to see public displays of affection as it's considered as distasteful. It's more of respecting the people around you. Now that's part of mannerisms that we covered during this season too, so you'd know if you've been following. Now the question remains, what if there's no spark or chemistry with the guy after getting into a relationship, since there's no physical contact before? Simple. Just break up. In Japanese culture, it's totally normal for a relationship to last a month or so, as short-lived or not serious relationships don't count anyway. Now be careful guys, some Japanese people might consider meeting a friend of the opposite sex as cheating. Even if your partner says, "Daijoubu," doesn't mean it's okay. You gotta read the air a little. Or kuki o yomu. We have a whole article on Japanese high context culture over at the Nihongo Master blog, so check it out. Now for a final quick vocab recap. Futsu, normal. Daijoubu, it's okay. Kuki o yomu, read the air. What I tell ya, Japanese dating culture is pretty different from Western dating culture, isn't it? What do you think of it? Tell us your thoughts by commenting on our social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, head over to the Nihongo Master blog if you're interested in reading up on topics like these some more. And if you're keen on picking up some more Japanese for yourself, pop onto our official website, nihongomaster.com, to learn more. While you're at it, why not get yourself a subscription? Get a head start on your Nihongo journey with Nihongo Master. Thank you so much for listening in. Join me in the next one. We'll be walking you down the avenue of Japan's rich culture. Mata ne!